Have you ever felt disrespected simply because of your age or experience? As we grow older, we gain wisdom, resilience, and an appreciation for the value of respect. Yet, despite all of this, there are still moments when people fail to treat us with the dignity we deserve. It can sting, especially when you think people would understand the importance of respecting their elders. But here's the good news. You don't have to tolerate disrespect. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 powerful strategies to handle people who don't show you respect. These aren't just quick fixes. They are empowering tools to help you navigate these moments with grace and confidence. From handling pushy relatives to managing disrespect from strangers or even close friends, these tips will make sure you stand firm in your dignity. Stick around until the end because I'll share some life-changing insights on how you can maintain your peace and self-worth even when others try to undermine it. You don't want to miss these empowering tips. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. 1. Embrace the silent stare. There's a profound, often understated power in silence. A quiet strength that holds more weight than any words could ever carry. The silent stare is not just a passive reaction, but a powerful statement, one that resonates with unshakable self-respect. It says, "I see you, but your words, your actions, they do not define me." It is a moment of profound inner calm, a choice to meet negativity with grace rather than engaging in a back and forth that drains your energy. When confronted with someone who interrupts, dismisses, or undermines you, the instinctive desire to respond can be almost overwhelming. We feel the need to defend ourselves, to assert our worth, to remind others of the respect we've earned. It's a natural reaction, one that comes from our human desire to be heard and understood. However, there are times when the most powerful thing you can do is to say nothing at all and let your gaze speak volumes. The silent stare is a form of communication all its own. When you hold a steady, calm stare, unflinching, unwavering, and unbothered, it shifts the entire dynamic of the interaction. At that moment, you're not merely looking at the person in front of you. You are, in essence, confronting their behavior without uttering a single word. This is not an act of intimidation. It's about establishing your presence in a way that words cannot. It's about showing that you are grounded in who you are and that you don't need validation from anyone else. By maintaining this quiet composure, you challenge them to face the weight of their actions. They are forced to sit with their own words, to feel the consequences of their behavior. Most people who engage in disrespectful or dismissive actions are not used to this kind of reaction. They thrive on eliciting a response, on provoking anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But when you refuse to give them the satisfaction of that response, when you simply meet their negativity with unshaken calmness, it leaves them grappling with an uncomfortable reality. In that silence, you create a mirror for them, a reflection of their behavior. They must now contend with the fact that their words have no power unless you allow them to. The truth is, their actions reflect more about them than they ever will about you. I recall a moment when I truly grasped the power of the silent stare. It occurred during a family dinner, one of those gatherings where conversations overlap and opinions are freely shared, whether they're asked for or not. A younger relative, brimming with their sense of superiority, made a dismissive comment about something I had shared, a story I held dear, a memory that was important to me. For a brief moment, I felt the sting of embarrassment, the reflexive urge to argue back, to demand acknowledgement, to stand up for my dignity. It was tempting to engage in the back and forth, to make them see my perspective, to show them they had crossed a line. But instead I paused. I stopped mid-bite, set my fork down, and met their eyes. I didn't respond with anger or frustration, nor did I try to justify myself. I simply held their gaze, steady, composed, and unruffled. It was a silent statement, an unspoken declaration that my worth was not up for debate. In that stillness, something shifted in the room. The younger relative's smirk faltered, and the conversation around us seemed to momentarily stop. They realized they had overstepped, that their words had landed in a place where they weren't welcome, and their dismissiveness was not going to be met with the expected resistance or defense. I didn't need to say anything. My silence, my unspoken presence, commanded the respect I deserved. It wasn't about confronting them head-on. It was about quietly demanding respect without uttering a single word. The power of the silent stare is not about letting things slide or pretending that something didn't hurt. Rather, it's about choosing how and where to invest your energy. It's a deliberate decision to stand firm in your dignity and show, rather than tell, that you will not be moved by someone else's negativity. This act of silence is a way of reclaiming control, not only over the situation at hand but over your own emotions and responses. In that quiet space, you reaffirm that your self-worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval or judgment. Their words hold no power unless you grant it to them. As we grow older, we begin to realize how precious our time, energy, and peace are. We come to understand that not every battle is worth fighting, not every comment deserves a reply, and not every disrespect needs to be addressed. The silent stare is a reflection of that wisdom. It's not about winning an argument or proving a point. It's about showing up as your fullest, most authentic self, strong, composed, and unapologetically unbothered by external forces. So the next time you encounter someone who belittles you or tests your boundaries, resist the knee-jerk reaction to explain, justify, or retaliate. Instead, take a deep breath, meet their gaze with quiet confidence, and let the silence between you speak louder than any words ever could. You might find that in that stillness, you reclaim your sense of power and that your self-assurance grows in ways you never anticipated. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 2. Embrace silence as your answer. Silence is often misunderstood and misjudged. To some, it may appear as passive, as if you're avoiding confrontation, giving up, or backing down. Yet, silence holds profound power and can be one of the most impactful responses, especially in moments when someone disrespects or belittles you. It is not an absence of action. Rather, it is a deliberate and conscious choice to withdraw your energy from a situation that does not warrant your involvement. Silence, in this context, becomes an act of self-preservation and assertion of your inner strength. When someone hurls a rude or hurtful comment your way, there's often an underlying intention behind their words. They may be fishing for a reaction, hoping to provoke you, make you feel small, or drag you into their negativity. Their goal is to elicit a response, one that either justifies their behavior or pulls them into a cycle of confrontation. By choosing silence, you effectively deny them the satisfaction of engaging with their negativity. You allow their words to hang in the air, unacknowledged, until they lose their power and dissipate. There is a quiet yet undeniable beauty in allowing silence to speak for you. It is not weakness, it is a bold declaration. Silence says, "I will not dignify this with a response." It tells the other person that their words do not hold enough value or significance to disrupt your peace. In doing so, you not only maintain your composure, but you also remind yourself of your strength. You are not obliged to explain, defend, or justify yourself to anyone. Your calm, unshaken presence is your most powerful answer, proof that you are in control of your emotions and your energy. I remember an experience that vividly illustrated the power of silence. It was an ordinary day, and I was standing in line at a pharmacy. The person behind me, a younger individual, grew visibly impatient with the wait. In frustration, they muttered something under their breath loud enough for me to hear. In years past, I might have felt the urge to turn around and snap back, feeling the need to prove that I was not someone to be disrespected. My instinct would have been to engage in an exchange of words, to assert myself and perhaps challenge the disrespect. But this time, I chose to remain silent. I didn't react. I kept my gaze fixed forward, my posture tall, and allowed the moment to unfold. The silence between their words and my non-response grew thick, almost palpable. The tension in the air became uncomfortable for them, the weight of their own words now hanging with nowhere to go. They shuffled awkwardly, glancing away, and eventually stopped talking altogether. What was once an attempt to provoke a reaction had now faded into an uncomfortable, self-inflicted moment of regret. I didn't need to do anything. The silence had already spoken louder than any words I could have said. In that moment, I felt a quiet strength within me, not because I had won the exchange, but because I had refused to give up my peace. The power of silence was a reminder that I am not defined by the words of others or by their attempts to drag me into negativity. Silence, when chosen wisely, is an act of self-respect. Choosing silence is not about avoiding conflict or being afraid to stand up for yourself. It is, in fact, a form of strength. It is a peaceful assertion that you are not bound to react impulsively to every comment, every insult, or every challenge. By embracing silence, you are making a conscious decision to protect your dignity, your peace, and your energy. Not every word spoken to you requires a response, and not every situation demands that you engage in a battle. In today's fast-paced world, where everyone seems eager to have the last word or prove a point, embracing silence can be revolutionary. It allows you to stay centered, maintain your sense of self amidst external chaos, and avoid getting caught up in the endless cycle of negativity. Silence is a shield that protects you from being pulled into unnecessary drama and conflict. When you practice silence, you gain the ability to control your emotional responses, and in doing so, you protect your most valuable resources: your time and your peace of mind. These treasures are too precious to waste on empty words or meaningless confrontations. In choosing silence, you are, in effect, reclaiming your power. You are deciding that your worth is not dependent on the approval of others or the need to prove yourself. You are saying, "I am enough as I am, and I do not need to explain myself to anyone." So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where disrespect or negativity is being directed at you, remember that silence can be your most powerful response. It is not a surrender. It is a declaration of your strength, your peace, and your self-worth. Embrace the quiet confidence that comes with knowing you do not need to react to maintain control. Let silence be your answer, and in doing so, protect your peace and your power. 3. Stop explaining your choices. One of the most exhausting, yet deeply ingrained habits we often fall into is over-explaining ourselves. We feel compelled to justify every decision we make, as though each choice requires the approval or understanding of others to feel valid. From the small, everyday decisions to the major, life-altering ones, we sometimes find ourselves caught in the trap of offering explanations to others when, deep down, we know the only person we need to answer to is ourselves. Here's a truth that becomes clearer with time. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you choose to live your life. We all have those moments where we feel the need to explain every decision. Whether it's politely turning down an invitation, deciding not to engage in a conversation, or making a significant change in our lives, there are always those around us who will question us. Why did you say no? What's your reasoning for this? Don't you think this might be a mistake? These questions can come from a place of genuine concern, but all too often, they are veiled attempts to judge, undermine, or even manipulate our decisions to fit someone else's expectations. The curious probing can make us feel uncertain, as if our decisions are somehow incomplete without the validation of others. However, one of the most empowering lessons we learn over time is that other people's understanding or approval is not necessary for your choices to be valid. The more we allow ourselves to give explanations, the more we hand over our power to others, waiting for their approval before we feel we can move forward confidently. This is especially true when we are making deeply personal choices that reflect what is right for us, even if others don't see things the same way. There is an incredible, almost liberating sense of freedom that comes from letting go of the need to explain yourself to others. It's the freedom to stand firm in your decisions, knowing that they are enough simply because they are yours. Whether or not someone else agrees or understands doesn't change the validity of your choices. What truly matters is that you made a decision that feels right for you, and that decision doesn't require external validation to hold value. I can share a personal experience where I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I was the one who organized and hosted large family gatherings. I felt a deep sense of responsibility to uphold traditions and bring everyone together. It became an unspoken expectation that I would be the glue holding these events together. But, over time, I realized that this responsibility was becoming emotionally and physically draining. I found myself growing resentful, exhausted, and increasingly unhappy with the pressure of it all. After much thought and reflection, I decided to stop hosting the family gatherings. It was a decision I knew was best for my health, well-being, and peace of mind. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Naturally, the questions started. But why wouldn't you want everyone to be together? What about the family tradition? At first, I felt the need to explain. I tried to articulate how overwhelming it had become, and how much I needed to prioritize my own needs. I told them about my need to recharge and the fact that I simply couldn't bear the stress anymore. But no matter how many different ways I explained myself, the questioning never ceased. It felt like no explanation was ever good enough. Then, one day, when the inevitable question came up again, I simply replied, "Because this is what works for me." There were no excuses, no long explanations, just a simple, firm statement of fact. And, surprisingly, the conversation ended there. There was no follow-up, no judgment, and most importantly, I felt a deep sense of relief. I didn't have to explain myself anymore. I had reclaimed my autonomy in that moment, and it was empowering. It wasn't just about feeling relieved from the pressure of justifying my decision. It was the feeling of owning my choice without apology or justification. Your choices are yours. They are personal, unique to your life, and guided by what you feel is best for you. They don't need to be justified or neatly packaged for someone else's approval. By refusing to over-explain your decisions, you reclaim your power and your peace of mind. The next time someone questions your choices, take a deep breath, resist the instinct to launch into an elaborate explanation, and offer a simple, confident answer like, "Because I want to," or "It felt right for me." Let those words stand on their own. Let the silence that follows be a testament to your certainty. You'll find that most people don't know how to respond to such clarity. They might even become uncomfortable with your confidence, as it forces them to confront their uncertainties. But you will feel a newfound sense of strength in standing by your decisions, knowing that you don't need anyone's permission to live authentically. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to live on your terms. You have the wisdom, the experience, and the self-assurance to make choices that align with your values, your desires, and your vision for your life. You no longer need to seek external approval, and you certainly don't need to explain yourself. Live fully, unapologetically, and on your terms. 4. Keep your distance. There are times in life when the most powerful way to handle people who disrespect you isn't through words or actions, but through space. Creating distance isn't about being cold or shutting others out. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your emotional well-being. Sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do for yourself is to step away from toxic or draining individuals, even if they've been part of your life for years. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and it's perfectly okay to be selective about who gets access to your time and energy. As we grow older, our time and energy become increasingly precious. We've spent decades navigating various relationships, learning lessons from both positive and negative interactions. At this stage in life, we've experienced the ups and downs of relationships, both those that uplift us and those that leave us feeling drained or diminished. By now, it's clear that some people, no matter how long we've known them, simply take more from us than they give. It might be a friend who always has criticism ready, a family member who dismisses your opinions without hesitation, or a neighbor who oversteps your boundaries at every turn. Regardless of the relationship, no rule says you must tolerate disrespect just to keep the peace. Distance doesn't have to be dramatic or hostile. It doesn't require slamming doors or burning bridges. Those kinds of actions can often be more damaging than helpful. Instead, distance can be a quiet, intentional choice to protect your well-being. Sometimes, it's as simple as stepping back from constant interactions without making a grand statement. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're no longer as available as you once were. You don't have to justify prioritizing your happiness, peace, and health above someone else's comfort. After all, if they truly valued you, they wouldn't have placed you in a situation where you feel disrespected or drained in the first place. I recall a close friend from years ago who had a remarkable ability to make me feel small at every opportunity. They seemed to find a way to criticize my choices, my hobbies, or even my appearance, no matter how trivial the subject. For a long time, I brushed it off, convincing myself that they didn't mean any harm, that it was just their way. But over time, every encounter left me feeling worse about myself. The constant undermining, the subtle jabs, it all added up. One day, I realized I had had enough. I didn't confront them or announce my intentions. Instead, I quietly began to distance myself. I didn't answer every call. I politely declined a few invitations. I permitted myself to step back and, in doing so, slowly the weight of their negativity lifted from my life. This distance gave me clarity. It allowed me to see that my friends' behavior wasn't truly about me. It was about their insecurities and struggles. But more importantly, It made me realize that I deserve relationships that build me up, not tear me down. Keeping your distance from people who don't value you is not selfish, it's an act of self-respect. It's a powerful message to yourself that your peace and well-being are more important than maintaining a relationship that doesn't nurture or support you. So, if someone in your life consistently disrespects you, ask yourself, what am I gaining by staying close to them? If the answer is nothing, or worse, if the answer is emotional exhaustion or diminished self-worth, then it's time to take a step back. Distance doesn't have to be dramatic. It can simply create the necessary space for you to protect your mental, emotional, and physical health. It opens the door to relationships that bring positivity, growth, and mutual respect. Most importantly, it's a way of reinforcing that your well-being comes first. Because you are worth that respect, and you deserve to invest your energy in relationships that make you feel valued, loved, and supported. 5. Hold your head high. There's an extraordinary, quiet power in walking through life with your head held high. It's not just about posture or projecting confidence. It's about embodying your self-worth with every step you take, no matter where you are or what you're facing. Holding your head high is a daily act of self-respect, a reminder that your value is not determined by external opinions or circumstances. In moments when you face disrespect or negativity from others, the temptation to shrink can be overwhelming. The sting of harsh words or condescending actions can make you feel small, and the instinct may be to internalize those remarks, question your worth, or retreat into yourself. But holding your head high is an act of defiance, a declaration that you will not let their words or behavior define you. It's a powerful reminder to yourself and to the world that you know exactly who you are, and no one has the right to diminish your essence. Disrespect, more often than not, comes from individuals who seek to undermine you. They may feel threatened, insecure, or simply want to make themselves feel superior by belittling others. When they see you standing tall, it challenges their narrative. They rely on their words or actions to chip away at your confidence, hoping to make you doubt your value. But when you stand strong, when you hold your head high, you send a clear and unspoken message. You do not have the power to define me. It's not about pretending to be unaffected or feigning indifference. It's about choosing not to let their negativity take root in your spirit. You have the power to decide how their words will affect you. Will you let them sink into your heart and mind, causing you to question everything you know about yourself? Or will you rise above it, holding on to your strength and sense of self-worth, regardless of their attempts to bring you down? I'll never forget a moment from years ago when someone remarked on my age. It seemed like a casual comment in a larger conversation, but there was a condescending undertone that carried with it an implicit judgment, suggesting that my years somehow rendered me less relevant. In the past, I might have tried to laugh it off or get defensive, desperately proving my worth. But this time, I took a deep breath, straightened my shoulders, and smiled. I didn't let their words rattle me. I simply continued the conversation as if their comment had never been made. That small yet powerful act of holding my head high, both physically and mentally, shifted the entire dynamic. It was clear that their words had failed to strike the blow they intended. They quickly moved on, visibly unsettled by my calm, unwavering confidence. In that moment, I realized how much power there is in simply being your authentic self, without the need to engage in any further conflict. The beauty of holding your head high is that it doesn't require words or explanations. It's not about arguing or proving your point. It's about embodying your self-worth so completely that it becomes undeniable. Others may try to challenge your sense of self, but when you project quiet strength and assurance, they can't help but see it. It's a form of strength that can be deeply disarming, especially for those who thrive on disrespect or intimidation. They expect to see you falter, to doubt yourself, to shrink back in the face of their negativity. But when you remain steady, unshaken in your self-belief, it throws them off balance. They don't know how to respond to your quiet, unshakable confidence. There's something magnetic about true confidence. When you walk into a room with your head held high, there's an unspoken energy that draws people in. It's not arrogance. It's a quiet assurance that says, I know who I am, and I'm proud of it. This kind of confidence doesn't need to be loud or boastful. It doesn't require validation from anyone. It simply is. And it has the power to command respect, not by demanding it, but by simply being authentic and unapologetically you. And here's the best part. The more you practice this, the less other people's negativity will affect you. At first, it may feel difficult to ignore the sting of criticism or judgment, but over time, you'll find that the words and actions that used to hurt you will barely register anymore. You'll stop internalizing the negativity and start recognizing it for what it truly is, just noise. This isn't just about how you deal with others' disrespect, it's about how you choose to carry yourself through life. Holding your head high is a manifestation of your self-respect. It's a conscious decision to remind yourself every day that your worth isn't up for debate. It's a refusal to shrink into the shadows or apologize for your existence. You deserve to take up space. You deserve to be seen and heard, just as you are. As you walk through the world with this quiet strength, you'll notice that others begin to mirror the respect you show yourself. People will start treating you with the same dignity and self-assurance that you exude. You become a living example of self-respect, and that energy ripples outward, influencing those around you. So, the next time someone tries to make you feel small, resist the urge to stoop to their level. Don't lower your head or retreat into yourself. Instead, take a deep breath, lift your chin, and stand tall. Remind yourself, I am more than their words. I am enough. In that moment, you'll feel your power returning to you. Not because of what you've said or done, but because of who you are. Holding your head high is a daily act of embracing your worth, and with each step you take, you'll not only redefine how others see you, you'll redefine how you see yourself. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 6. Teach people how to treat you. Teaching people how to treat you is one of the most powerful expressions of self-respect and personal empowerment. Respect is not always a given. It is something that must be nurtured, cultivated, and, when necessary, taught. This isn't about forcing others to see your worth or demanding special treatment. It's about showing, through your actions and words, where your boundaries are, and making it clear that you will not tolerate being treated in a way that undermines your value. Respect starts with you, and it begins with how you carry yourself. The way you present yourself, both physically and emotionally, sends a message to others about what you will and will not tolerate. In the beginning, it may feel uncomfortable to assert yourself, but consistently teaching others how to treat you can lead to profound changes in how you experience the world and how others interact with you. When someone disrespects you, it's often tempting to brush it off or make excuses for their behavior. You might think they didn't mean it, or maybe they were just having a bad day. While compassion and understanding are important in any relationship, it's equally vital to recognize when someone's actions cross a line. Ignoring these moments only enables the behavior to continue. By acknowledging the line, you set the tone for how you wish to be treated moving forward. You send a clear message that you are aware of your worth and that you will not tolerate anything less. Teaching respect doesn't have to mean starting an argument or creating conflict. It doesn't require raising your voice or acting aggressively. Instead, it can be as simple as calmly and assertively stating your boundaries. For example, when someone interrupts you during a conversation, rather than letting it slide, you can say, I'd appreciate it if you could let me finish speaking. When someone makes a dismissive or thoughtless comment about your choices, a simple but firm response like, that's your opinion, but I'm comfortable with my decision, can let them know where you stand. These statements aren't confrontational. They are quiet but powerful affirmations of your worth, delivered with calm authority. I once had a neighbor who would frequently drop by my house unannounced. While I knew they meant well, these impromptu visits often disrupted my plans and left me feeling as though my time and personal space weren't being respected. At first, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to appear rude or unkind. However, as the visits continued, I realized that my silence was unintentionally teaching them that this behavior was acceptable. I wasn't setting a boundary, and they had no way of knowing that it was an issue for me. One day, when they arrived uninvited, I decided to speak up. I greeted them with a smile and said, I enjoy our conversations, but I'd appreciate it if you could call ahead next time to make sure it's a good time for me. It was a small request, but the impact was significant. My neighbor respected my wish, and I felt a renewed sense of control over my time. This small act of asserting my boundaries made all the difference, not just for my relationship with them, but for my sense of self-respect. Teaching others how to treat you is an ongoing process that requires patience, consistency, and the courage to speak up when something doesn't feel right. You may not always get it perfect, and at times, others may test your limits, but the rewards of standing firm in your boundaries are immeasurable. As you practice this skill, you'll notice that people will begin to treat you with the respect you've shown yourself, not because you demanded it, but because you set the example through your actions. The truth is, you are the one who sets the standard for how others treat you. When you respect yourself, you are giving others a clear map of how to engage with you. People will follow your lead. And when you refuse to accept disrespect, you send a powerful message. Not just to those around you, but to yourself. I value who I am, and I expect you to honor that as well. This quiet, consistent demonstration of self-worth will change the way you relate to others and the way they relate to you. It empowers you, and it creates a ripple effect of respect in your relationships. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 4 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 7. Remember, respect starts with you. At the heart of every interaction, every boundary set, and every moment of self-advocacy lies one undeniable truth. Respect starts with you. It's easy to point fingers at those who fail to treat us with kindness or dignity, but the most transformative change begins not with them, but within ourselves. The way we view ourselves, the way we treat ourselves, and the boundaries we set are the foundation for how others will treat us. When you truly respect yourself, when you honor your own needs, desires, and boundaries, others will follow suit. This shift, however, requires intentionality and self-awareness. Self-respect isn't merely about demanding better treatment from others. It is about treating yourself with the same care, kindness, and regard you wish to receive. It is about setting clear boundaries that protect your well-being and making decisions that align with your values. Self-respect is more than a concept. It is a daily practice. It's about the little things you do for yourself every day. Choosing peace over conflict, prioritizing your mental and physical health, and refusing to tolerate situations that leave you feeling less than whole. It's about acknowledging your worth and not seeking validation from others to affirm it. I remember a time when I didn't fully understand this principle. I used to believe that by constantly saying yes to others, I was being helpful, likable, and considerate. But the truth was, I was depleting myself. I found myself agreeing to things I didn't want to do, offering help when I was already overwhelmed, and attending events that didn't bring me joy, all because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. Each time I compromised my own needs, I chipped away at my sense of self-respect. It wasn't until I started listening to my inner voice, the one that gently but firmly said, "You matter too," that things began to change. Respecting yourself, however, is not always easy, especially in a world that often places others' needs above our own. It can feel revolutionary to prioritize yourself in an environment that expects you to constantly give. But the more you practice self-respect, the more natural it becomes. With time, you'll realize that the more you value yourself, the less space there is for others to disrespect you. People will begin to mirror the way you carry yourself. When you treat yourself with kindness and honor, they will take note and follow your example. Those who don't respect you, they will fade away, unable to thrive in the presence of your unwavering self-worth. It's important to remember that self-respect doesn't mean perfection. It's not about always having the right answers or never making mistakes. It's about giving yourself permission to be human, to stumble and fall, but to rise again. It's about showing yourself compassion when you make an error and taking the time to acknowledge your progress and success. Self-respect means embracing yourself fully, with all your imperfections, and understanding that your value is not defined by what you do for others or by how much you achieve. It is inherent in your very existence. When you remember that respect starts with you, everything else in your life begins to align. The decisions you make become clearer because they are guided by the love and care you have for yourself. The relationships you maintain become healthier because they are based on mutual respect and understanding. The negativity that once felt suffocating begins to lose its grip, as you cultivate an internal foundation that no external force can shake. So, take a moment to look inward. Ask yourself, am I treating myself the way I want others to treat me? If the answer is no, don't be discouraged. Change takes time, and even the smallest steps are progress. Start with one decision today that honors your worth, whether it's saying no to something that drains you or setting a boundary with someone who consistently disrespects you. Then, make another decision tomorrow. Over time, these small acts of self-respect will compound, and you'll find that the respect you give yourself is reflected in you in ways you never imagined. Because at the end of the day, respect, true, lasting respect, always begins with you. It is the cornerstone of healthy relationships, inner peace, and personal growth. When you honor yourself, you lay the groundwork for others to do the same. And that, my friend, is where the magic begins. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly hope this message has touched your heart and given you some valuable insights and encouragement. Life is a beautiful, complex journey, and we are constantly learning and growing. With each step, we have the power to embrace change, release the past, and trust in the guidance that surrounds us. So, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from today's video that you're committed to practicing in your life moving forward? Whether it's about embracing a fresh start, trusting in God's plan, or simply being more present, sharing it below will inspire others in their journeys. If you found value in this video, please take a moment to leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that together we can keep spreading messages of hope, faith, and encouragement to more people. Your support means so much to us and helps us continue creating content that uplifts and inspires. Thank you once again, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay blessed, and remember, you are never alone on this path.